Cloud. Okay, all right. So we are recording. I see people coming out. Mr. Shaddix, I see you. Nice to finally see you face to face, sir. So we got the gentleman out here from Dakota Hemp as well. And like I said, this is a recorded session. And there are going to be people that come out here during the recording. I'm not sure who's going to listen to this, who's going to see this, where in the world, but I just want to make sure I set everyone up for success properly. And before I introduce, our featured speakers today or our guests, I'm going to go here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go ahead and put a lot of myths to bed, like, right away. So first of all, if anyone needs to contact me after this is said and done, this is how you can reach me. My website is www.jjgro.com. If someone needs to email me, there's my email address right there, james@jjgro.com. Please feel free to reach out at any point in time. But like I said, we're going to dive straight into this thing. And I love to start off with the black and white, like the definition, right? So here we go. This is the definition of hemp per the page from the 2018 Federal Farm Bill. So hemp, the term hemp means the plant Cannabis sativa L and any part of that plant, including the seeds thereof, all derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts, and salts of isomers, whether growing or not, with a delta 9 THC concentration of not more than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. Now, we are anxiously awaiting a revision to the Farm Bill, but until such time arises, this is the current definition. And basically, when we talk about hemp versus marijuana, it's all about THC concentration. And this page sets it up really well because when we talk about cannabis, hemp and marijuana are both cannabis, just like apples and oranges are both fruits. The only difference is THC concentration. If the delta 9 THC concentration is greater than 0.3%, that is a marijuana plant all day, every day. But if the THC concentration is less than 0.3%, it is hemp all day long. And the main difference is if we're talking about marijuana, they're in the process of moving it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 narcotic as we speak. But when we talk about things that are truly hemp derived, with the passing of the 2018 Federal Farm Bill, that made it no longer Schedule 1 and also legal for interstate commerce in all states. So federally legal if we're talking things that are hemp derived. And when we talk about hemp marijuana, everybody always thinks we're talking about this right here. Okay. Now, this is the version of the hemp plant that they use to extract or smoke. If they're extracting it to get the oils to be able to make things like CBD, or either they're smoking it for smokable hemp. And this is below 0.3% delta 9 THC. But there's also another, and this one grows 4 to 6 feet tall. Okay. So there's also another version of this plant that is still below 0.3% THC, but instead of 4 to 6 feet tall, it actually grows 15 to 20 feet tall. Now, that is a full grown man that you're looking at in the picture. He's just really that small in comparison to these plants. Here's another picture of my buddy Wade Atbury. Wade's about 6'2". And Wade's standing there as a 6'2" man holding this gigantic, plant right next to him. So you can see how big this one normally gets. So the talk that we're going to do today is primarily about this plant right here, because this plant right here is different from the one that grows 4 to 6 feet tall, because when it grows 4 to 6 feet tall, like I said, they smoke it, they use it for CBD products, all, medicinal or medical, purposes for healing the body. This version of the plant right here is used in over 25,000 industrial products right now. Anything made out of paper, anything made out of plastic. The first and second draft of the Declaration of Independence is written on hemp paper, right? Henry Ford in 1943 made a car. It was called the Model T. The door panels were made out of a hemp biocomposite, and it ran on a hemp-based biofuel. So this is the plant that we're going to talk about today. Now, when you take this plant and you chop it down and you look at it from a side view, okay, the stalk of the plant is the entire portion that Wade, was holding in his hand. But the outer portion of the stalk is what we call, that's where the bast fiber is located. And the inner portion of that same plant is what we call hurd. Now, here is another picture of the bast fiber separated from the hurd. And here is another picture of the bast fiber separated from the hurd, and also some green microfiber. We'll get into what that's about because that can be extracted a little bit, but it's not grown primarily for extraction purposes. Okay. Now, in order
Gotcha.
to separate the fiber from the hurd, you need a piece of equipment that's called decortication equipment. And I have had the luxury of meeting a lot of great people, in this space. And I also have a video of a decorticator in operation so you can see what it looks like. And without further ado, here's that picture of that decorticator actually in operation. Now, the crazy thing about this video that I just shared with you guys, and I'm gonna go here and let's get out of that. The crazy thing about this video that I shared with you guys, when I first started doing what I currently do in the hemp space, I was like, man, that's an awesome piece of equipment, but it comes out of Canada. I'm not going over to Canada just to see, this piece of equipment. Screw that. I'm not doing that. I can talk enough about this equipment, and let people know what it's about without, making that pilgrimage, so to speak, and spending all that money, going over there. So that was, my goal when I first started in this space. So I've always talked about decortication equipment. I know several people who have decortication equipment. But man, I am really excited for these gentlemen that I'm about to introduce to you and tell a little bit about their story. One, because they actually have that very piece of equipment that you just saw in the video, the hemp train. Also, they are both military veterans. We've got John Peterson coming out here, as well as Carl. Carl's last name is Lesher. I hope I said that correct. They are with Dakota Hemp. And man, John is a Navy veteran. Carl is an Air Force veteran. I am a veteran, an Air Force veteran myself. I straight up feel like we are in the middle of a military family reunion right now. No telling what's going to happen when these guys come off of mute, but we always have a great time when we get together with our fellow brothers and sisters. So I'm really looking forward to this chat. So with that being said, guys, John and Carl, can you hear me okay? I see you're on mute right now, but can you hear me
Can
okay?
absolutely hear you just fine, JJ.
Awesome,
Uh,
Yep, can hear
awesome.
you just fine, JT.
yep.
Awesome. Perfect, man. Brothers, thank you so much. One, for serving this country. Two, thank you so much for, after serving this country, making a decision to get involved in industrial hemp. Bro, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm just gonna keep real. I know it's been a shit show. Okay. I'm just gonna tell it like it is because I know how it is for me. But man, they always say persistence breaks down resistance, and you guys
Yeah.
are a living, example of that, with your ownership in Dakota Hemp and, what you guys bring to the table these days. So I just thought I would start off right away because I know my transition was crazy, right? I started off medical, then I was a drill sergeant, came back medical, switched over to aviation my last, 6.5 years in the military, retired in 2016, and now I'm the legal weed man, right? So I go from all of these things, to the cannabis space. Man, tell me a little bit about your transitions. Like, whoever wants to go first, fine. From the military over to this, how did it go for you?
Honestly, my transition wasn't too bad. I would say after the military, I ended up getting into a factory in a nearby town here in South Dakota.
Hmm.
I should say when I got out of the military, I'd realized that most of my family had moved up here to South Dakota. Not sure why, but I followed him. And then, I got a job at a factory, met my wife, had kids, so settled in South Dakota overall. But I had that job in Yankton for about 8 years working at a factory called Truxedo
Okay.
and did just about everything there is to do in that factory for a long time. And it was John that had approached me and asked if I wanted to come and check out a CBD crop that he had going.
Uh-huh.
And that was basically my start into the cannabis world. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then as far as, the into the industrial side of things, that was really more John. Like he had the ambition of checking out these decorticators and realizing that the industrial hemp grown as a crop is actually a great commodity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you bring up, it's a great commodity. People look at the CBD space right now, but I always tell people as more and more people figure out the industrial uses of this plant, the industrial market is gonna dwarf the freaking CBD market and the marijuana market combined, right? When people truly
Oh,
figure
yeah.
out what this is about. And John, I really appreciate your vision, for putting this together with Dakota Hemp. So how did it go for you, man, making that transition from the military to where you're at now?
Well, yeah, thank you for your service too. You outrate both of us. So if you want to
I'm
tell
just
us
a
to
dude,
Yeah,
bro.
you
drop a
definitely put in more
D20.
time.
Hey, I'm just a dude next to a dude trying to play a part of another dude.
Even though,
No, that was good on you for making retirement. I think I did 6 years, and
Roger
that was
that.
enough. I tapped out after that. After I got out of the military, I was lucky enough to be stationed in Hawaii, so I had no
Oh,
complaints
you
there for
luck,
four
you
years. Yeah, it's rough.
really,
Someone had to
bro?
do it.
Really?
Someone had to
Freaking
do
someone had
it.
to do it.
U.S. Navy. Great. Okay. All right. I see where this is going.
But once I got out of the military, I worked in Boston for a couple of years, a company called Nuvera Fuel Cells. We built hydrogen fuel cells
Okay.
uh, and made a couple electric vehicles for Renault.
Hmm.
Uh, Overseas, made even a hydrogen powered train that we hooked up over in Japan.
Okay.
Once a piece of farm ground came available for sale around my hometown, around my parents live, where I grew up
Uh-huh.
back in '06, I purchased it and started farming with my family. Did that for quite a few years, and then once hemp became legal and well, the 18 Farm Bill,
Yep. Yep.
we were the last state I think to legalize hemp or allow our farmers to do it. So
Wow.
by the time our state allowed hemp to be grown was 2021 was the first year.
Mm-hmm.
The CBD craze had kind of boomed and busted already.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
we were really able to get in from the ground level on a grain and fiber type of hemp growing in
Hmm.
our area. And that's really what's more suited for large acres in this
Yeah.
area. But the closest decortication facility, first year I put some hemp in was either Aaron and Melissa down in Kansas or
Yep. Yep.
IND Hemp was just, they hadn't
Ken
even
and those
turned the lights
guys.
on at IND Hemp yet that first
Yep.
year. So
Yeah.
uh, myself and Ken Meyer, who owns Complete Hemp Processing in uh,
Yep.
just outside of Madison, South Dakota, and big town of Winfred.
Yep.
Uh, we both jumped in and
Some more water.
purchased some
Good, thank you.
processing equipment
Fine, thank
and started putting on growers meetings, getting farmers to plant this, and we're at where we're at now.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like that's crazy, man. That you guys were one of the last ones out of the gate, considering where because there are people that have, had programs in existence, way before you, and you guys have been able to make it to this level. And I just feel like y'all have some amazing, amazing insight, to share in terms of genetics, distance to facility, what it took to get you going, overall as a whole. So I want you guys to be able to share some of those experiences. And I know we've got a couple people, out here right now, and more people will probably end up coming. But I want anyone who's listening to this, as you have questions, please unmute, ask those questions. I'm probably going to ask a couple of lead off questions and just kind of see, where things go from there. But I don't want anyone to feel like they can't unmute at any point in time or, raise your hand, get my attention, whatever, and ask those questions. And, I guess the first question that I want to ask is how was it working with the local farmers in your area? Like, was it hard to build trust with them to be able to get them to grow for you to be able to support your decortication operation?
I would say one of the first meetings that we had, we've probably done close to between 75 and 100 in-person growers meetings throughout the state over the course of the last 5 years.
Mhm.
But one of the first one, farmers can always sniff a BS artist
Yeah,
pretty quick.
yeah,
One
yeah.
of the first meetings we put on, I think the very first question we got was the guy stood up and he said, "How is this any different than a Jerusalem artichoke?" Which was a crop that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in this area. It was grown kind of almost, it turned into almost Ponzi scheme
Mhm.
at the end of the day. But Ken Meyer quickly snapped back. He said, "Well, have you ever seen a Jerusalem artichoke T-shirt?" And he was wearing a Hemp made shirt at that point, so quickly ended that one real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
no, in general, farmers are looking for a third crop. Corn and soybean markets are getting the global market is shifting. Obviously, we're needing a third crop here. This fits so many holes. A nice crop that can be grown locally, processed locally, turned into finished goods locally too, and creating jobs at every step of the way.
yeah, and and kudos because I remember how it was when I first started, in this space in Oklahoma. Because when I first started, I was trying to help people get the permits to be able to grow, for hemp, in Oklahoma. And we did several farmers meetings as well. And we're out there, we're doing our thing, and they're like, I ain't growing that stuff. That's the devil's lettuce. So like I had to straight up put PowerPoints together to say, hey man, we're talking about something totally different, here. And how was it for you? Now it's real easy to intake that material and decorticate it and sit there and look at it and be like, man, that's pretty, that's some pretty material. But looking at it doesn't make you any money. So what was the process like, or how hard has it been for you to be able to have offtake agreements, in place so that these, bales have somewhere to go after they leave your facility?
Well, we're 6 months in, and we're still working on that every day.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
still locking down new customers all the time.
Mhm.
Normally it takes a lot of R&D on their part. Like they'll ask us, can you make this material at this size? And then they'll receive that material, do their tests or whatever. It usually takes probably a month before you hear anything back from anyone, whether or
Mhm.
not that worked or should we try something else or yeah. So we are
Yeah.
locking down customers all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a page for your states, South Dakota hemp growers. I own that page. Man, y'all are more than welcome to join that page on Facebook. I want to get the word out about you guys. I want people to know about you. I want people hitting you up, asking you questions and things like that. And so I definitely want to do what I can to help support, in that regard. And we have to ask the question, how has it been in terms of establishing a radius, right? Because if people are too far away from your facility, like just trucking gas prices, it just kills people transporting, back and forth. What do you normally tell people in terms of your radius?
I try to shoot for about a 100-mile radius. Yeah, we like to say if we could have a hemp decorticating facility every 100 miles, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, so a farmer wouldn't have to go any further than that to take their bales. We've had I guess we've had some from northern South Dakota, about
Hmm.
300 miles almost, bringing bales.
Hmm.
So that would be our furthest person, but you get much past that and it starts to become non-economical to haul bales that far
Yeah. Now, are you guys near a rail yard or are they bringing it in on trucks?
on trucks.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha, gotcha. Man, I will be, look, I'm an opportunist, man. I'm all about doing, what's right to benefit the people. But I couldn't help but notice that both you guys are literally standing in the facility right now. And I know
Yep.
we
Hmm.
got a gentleman on the phone who would probably be extremely interested in asking you a few questions because, he's possibly, entertaining doing something like this himself. So with that said, Mr. Shaddix, I see you out there, sir. Do you want to unmute and ask these gentlemen a couple of questions? Because I know talked to him on the phone previously.
I could.
Let's see. Let me hit that. Okay, Mr.
Are
Shaddix.
we good?
Yes, sir. You good to go? How are you today?
I'm fine. If I was just having some little dinner outside here. It's like 91 degrees, 92 degrees here this afternoon, and
Oh wow.
I'm outside.
Okay.
And,
All right. Well, look, what are you eating? I mean, are you making me
wings,
hungry?
hot wings.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Good choice.
Yeah, they're good. It's
Yeah.
some of the best here, but this very interesting, guys, and that was it. Good to hear that some people are coming from as far away as 300 miles. I think it's going to depend a lot on market conditions, if to make that economical or not. But I was also interested in knowing, do both of you, is Carl and JP, are y'all in the same company?
Yes,
Yep.
correct. I'm the chief operating officer at Dakota Hemp, and John is our chief executive officer.
And do y'all have the earlier version of the hemp train or the later version?
I wish it was the latest version, but we have
Yeah,
a
we've got
probably about the middle of the
we got
the
the fifth serial number 5, I believe.
yep.
Okay, so what vintage is it? Are you looking at? It's like 2019 or 2020 or
2021,
Uh,
built in 2022.
yep.
okay. All right. Well, I haven't looked to see what year, the one that I'm planning on setting up is. I've got to
It'd
move.
be similar.
And so
There's
I
one
can,
hemp. Yeah, there's one run up in Canada, correct? Hemp Alta.
okay, sorry guys, this family gathering. Um,
Little buddy
okay.
T'Challa.
All right.
So
Well, I'm going to be talking with you guys a lot as I get mine set up. I've got a company that I talked with one representative, and he's pretty confident that he can help me get this thing set up pretty well. But from what I've heard is just the fine tuning that once you get it set up and running, that takes a little time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first got up and going, I think what we set this up last year, right around Christmas, was like pretty much the end of setting everything up. But then it took us probably a good month of running it to really get it down where you want it to be for the material that you're putting in there. I don't think that they grow hemp quite like we do up in Canada. Our stock sizes are probably 4 to 5 times as large as, they're looking for pinky size where we're producing thumbs and up.
What do you
Uh,
mean by that?
like as far as the diameter of the stalk itself, when we
Yeah,
grow this in South Dakota and it gets that tall, the stalk itself ends up, from an
an
inch
inch or
sometimes to an
more.
inch and a
Good
half.
grief. Yeah.
Yeah, and so your machine needs to be able to process that still, and uh, it's different than what you would expect. So you
Mhm.
say, for instance, our hemp train, we have variable feed technologies so that we can slow down or speed up or reverse any kind of cycles that we need to on certain areas.
Mhm.
That being said, we had to kind of find the sweet spot in each one of those areas, so it doesn't wrap, so it doesn't just masticate, so it keeps our fiber intact, so all these things make new variables. So it definitely took us a good month to really get into that and find our sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, I've got to be up and running before the end of the year. And I want to make sure I can actually find some hemp to run through the machine, before the end of the year, to show that I'm up and running in 26. And so
Okay.
being that late in the year, you were still able to locate hemp to run through your equipment?
Absolutely. John can elaborate on that.
Yeah, no, we farm on my farm. We probably raise between 300 to 600 acres of hemp every year.
Oh, so you're right. So you're doing both growing and processing.
Yeah,
But
I
not
grow
all
it.
of the.
Yep, yep. We were just kind of initially got into this just to fill that need because there was no hemp processing in the area. We know it grows well here. That first year I grew it, it grew like a weed and made me really want to grow it again, but there was just nowhere to take it. So we kind of went down the rabbit hole, and here we are with a hemp processing plant a few years
That's
later.
great. Vertical integration.
But yeah, no, we still I raise about 500 to 600 acres a year myself, and then I probably contracted out another 500 to 600 acres per year.
Hmm. Well, I'm just
So
really curious also as to if you're buying that from other growers, do you do that to some extent? Or
yeah,
you
no,
just
we purchase about half our bales from other growers.
and what are you paying in South Dakota for per pound? Or do you just do it by
Uh,
the bale?
15 cents a pound or $300 a ton is what we're paying. Top dollar for our hemp stalks. That's these varieties out here that are grown just for the stalks. These are, I see we got some males that are just starting to put on some pollen sacs here, so they'll be going here pretty soon. But this is a variety called Jurassic. It's got large fan leaves, going to get 10 plus feet tall. These are the ones we're paying $300 a ton for large square bales. They seem to run through our machine better. They transport better. We can stack and store them better, so we're paying a little premium on that. Otherwise, we're paying $200 a ton for our or for our I guess the byproduct of our grain hemp varieties. We also grow another type of large acre hemp out here, kind of like a tall wheat plant where we grow it for the seed.
and,
That gets about 6 to 8 feet tall, and we go out with our combine and bean head, platform head, and
and
we combine the
Carl's
seeds
showing
off of that. And
Carl's showing some pictures, and if you can see Carl, make sure you get Carl in view, guys.
Yep.
You can swipe left or right to be able to see, multiple people out here on Zoom at the same time. Carl is actually showing some of those bales right now while John is talking about them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. But I was just thinking, just from what I've been reading, and I'm, still learning a lot about this, is it 15 cents will incentivize local farmers to grow hemp? 15 cents
So
a pound?
yeah, 50,
it
the way
matters
we
your
came up with that
yields.
15 cents, yeah, the 15 cents was based on us having to overcome $7 corn and $15 soybeans back in 2023 when we were trying to get farmers to grow this in South Dakota. And that price point is that's what got people to switch over and start growing some hemp. And we've just always kept it that price because we
Well, I
want
mean, I
this to
don't.
be a farmer first crop, to be honest.
So I was just thinking that was very much on the low end of the scale, but I mean, once again, I don't know that much about.
Well, see, what you have to think about with that is there's a lot of misconception out there when it comes to growing because people hear about money that they can make growing biomass per acre, which is the 4 to 6 foot tall plant. They get those numbers mixed up with growing for fiber, and they are totally different. I
Yeah.
know for a fact that, people were saying, like, so if someone's growing an acre for biomass, and if you had a crop that was doing like 20% CBD and you found someone that was paying you $3 per percent per pound, for those crops, you could be looking at $90,000 an acre, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
stupid
if you're
money.
growing for
No one's
bio.
making that.
Yeah,
No
but
one's
that's
No.
making
actually,
that across a whole farm.
yeah, but that has nothing to do with growing for fiber or industrial
Well,
purposes
here's
because
here's
So
a picture of
each
us
one of these,
cutting it. This is about a 4 to 5 ton per acre yield field right here. Here's a video of us cutting this with a multi-level bish cutter. This is about 10 to 12 foot tall stalks,
sorry, he was saying it's about
and that's
10 to
just making
12
the
foot
first pass
tall
through the
stalks.
field. Yep,
yeah.
and that makes on average about a 4 to 5 ton per acre yield.
And each
Yeah.
bale weighs about 600 pounds.
No, so I'd say
Yeah,
about round bales are probably about that, but like these square ones we're estimating they're about 1,200 pounds
The
for
square
a large
bales are
square.
1,200.
Hmm.
Yep.
Goodness. I mean, I knew about round bales. I've seen a lot of them, but I'm still kind of new with the big square bales.
Yeah. Like here, there's a forklift next to it for comparison.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Wow.
big.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Here's a video of us harvesting it overhead with
Can you get a little bit
grain.
closer on that video, John? Can you get a little bit closer?
I'll get one. I'll get a side one. This is a little better.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
So are y'all harvesting that with just conventional equipment? Is this specialized hemp harvesting equipment?
We in
No, that's the same one
particular,
I use on soybean and corn.
Really?
yeah,
That's good. See, that's
They are
gonna
the
be
same
such a big.
combine. That
yeah, we had to upgrade
same.
our concaves, right? You had to go to a larger opening for
Yeah, that
hemp.
was it. I mean, just the concave.
Yep.
Concaves were the only thing we had to change on that. But otherwise, the same bean header we use and same combine we use for corn and beans.
And that's
That's
another
good to
reason,
me.
and that's another reason why, this is less, per acre than, growing for specialized biomass is because you're basically taking a lot of farmers are taking equipment that they already have and just using it versus
Well,
having
that's
to
what I
go buy
wanted to make sure.
specialized equipment.
Yep.
That's the appeal. And you don't have to put a diaper on each one of these plants every day. You know, if you're growing from
No.
biomass, you literally have to have somebody walking those fields almost every day looking for male plants and eradicating them because you don't want those male plants to cross pollinate your crop because it's going to mess up your CBD percentages. This crop, it's totally different. You put them in the ground, pray it rains a good bit, and you can't get in between to look for males or weed eat or any of that. So no, it starts growing and you get what you get, just like that picture that John is showing right now.
Yeah. We actually have quite a few bales on hand, ready to go as far as processing goes. Uh, Funny enough, I just stepped outside of this garage door and you get that smell of the hemp field already. But you can see the stacks of square bales out there.
Now
And
here,
it's
here's a
oh, go
question.
ahead.
Here's a question for you guys. Um, when it comes to because you got the bales sitting outside right now, but prior to them going through the hemp train, I'm assuming you move them inside to dry out a little bit first to get the moisture
Uh,
content
Correct.
down.
Kind of inside.
Yep.
So back
Yeah.
here we have a lean-to type of storage. You got our Bobcat there.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, we've got many rows up underneath this lean-to type of building. And that just is kind of our staging area for, a few days before we bring in more and just kind of put them out of the rain or at least just put them nearby.
And what are
Yeah.
your
Bales have to be dry before we can run them.
Yeah, and what are
Yep.
so with that being said, what are your moisture content requirements? I'm assuming they probably bale somewhere around 10 to 15%, but you don't run it until
Yeah.
you
No. Under. They got to be under 15% delivered to me, and
okay.
then we try to get it a little drier than that before we run it.
Yep. So, that's key and pivotal. And then, like something else that I've, noticed within the space, because you're paying out, per pound. Well, the wetter the bales are, the more they're gonna weigh. So how do you counter that? Because you don't want nobody sitting out there with a water hose on a freaking truck, watering them down
Yeah.
to the road coming to you guys, to make more
Yeah. I
money.
know. If it shows up dripping water, we might have some conversations. But no, everyone's pretty honest on that.
It
Yeah.
rained, but we promise it rained right before the
Yeah. Very, very localized rain.
Honestly, like I'd say we've kind of lucked out as far as delivering. Like, if we have, say, torrential rains that week and our field is muddy, we usually don't, we'll tell people, if you can hold off a few days, that'd be great. And
Yeah,
it's not only allowing the field to dry out, but also those bales, coincidentally, I bet, at least a little.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So absolutely. And I know we've had some people who recently joined. Patrice, Danny, Renee, I see you guys out here. If y'all have questions, I know y'all came a little late to the party, but if you have questions, please unmute, ask your questions because this is all about information. This is true catch and release. There's nothing to buy. Not selling anything. We're just giving you guys information to make sure that you can make the best decisions possible.
Well, I got a question. Is there a preference, or do round or square bales work better with the hemp train, or are they
I'd
about the
say
same?
squares are best, mostly just because of the way that you load it. Like you can use dump trailer or like a dump hopper to load it, but there's even little built-in parts for your forks to go into and kind of hold the bale in place while you put it onto the conveyor.
This is so badass that like y'all are literally at the facility answering questions, showing the parts like real time. This is awesome.
Okay, see something cool. Here's the internals of our renewable Lego block style
Oh, so
concrete
y'all are
blocks that we're
doing
coming up with here next year.
so you guys are doing the blocks there too.
John is. Not here,
We're
actually,
going
in
to be doing
Rock
it in
Valley.
Rock Valley, Iowa.
Okay, okay, yeah. So
Yep.
those are hempcrete blocks and they're actually structural, correct?
Yep. Yep, this will be your frame that goes inside and it interlocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's still my baby.
Um,
Put it back.
Oh, Renee, do you have a question? I see you're unmuted. Do you have a question for us?
Oh, sorry. No, I just noticed that it was so quick. I missed it.
Oh, okay.
He flashed it up real quick, and I was like, wait. Sorry.
Did you want to see it again?
Yes, I would, please.
Okay. Well then
And
there you go,
somebody's in
JP.
Iowa, so he's close to home.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
no,
So
Rock Valley, Iowa is where this, he was actually at Steve Vonk and Dawson Vonk, father, son, and they were actually one of our farmers
Oh,
last year.
cool.
They grew hemp on their farm. I think it was the first industrial hemp, stock hemp grown in Iowa, but they liked it so much and saw where the promise of this industry that they also went ahead and purchased the hemp train, and they are currently they
nice.
just turned their key on about 2 weeks ago in Rock Valley, and we're working together with them and with Ken Meyer up in Madison or outside of Madison and Winfred, South Dakota, and we're all going to be supplying herd to make our new blocks.
Nice. Okay, Renee, you heard that, right? So Iowa, there's a
Yes.
hemp train. They just turned the keys on. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So this is Renee Stallings. She comes out to a lot
Yes.
of my Zooms and she gets a lot of information. She talks about a lot of things. And I know that she's
Soon
really,
I'm gonna
really
jump
good.
on something. Don't. I hear you trying to come at me. I hear you.
What? Hey.
I know. You just saying. I got you. That's
Okay.
nice though. Thank you.
Hint, hint. Well,
And I lost the picture. I don't know what I did, but anyway.
so I see Danny has unmuted as well. Danny, do you have a question? I see your lips moving, Danny, but I can't hear you. Cannot hear you. You may have an audio issue. Danny, if you want, you can leave the Zoom and come right back. But when it asks, right before you come in, it's probably going to ask you something about how do you want to join with your audio. You may want to make a different selection for the audio because like I see your lips moving, but we can't hear anything you're saying.
The words aren't coming out.
There you wait a minute, there you are. No, whoever said the words aren't coming out.
That
That's
was me. My bad.
oh, oh. Do you understand the words
I
that
hear
are
you.
coming out my mouth?
I see your lips moving, but the words aren't coming out.
Well, I had a question though to follow up with what I was asking about the bell. So, what kind of production can you get? I've seen anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 pounds per hour with the hemp train. What are you guys able to do as far as pounds per hour of production?
We're still ramping up our production, but the rated throughput capacity is 2 to 3,000 pounds per hour, all
Two to
depending on your
three?
throughput. 2 to 3,000 pounds per hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the people I bought mine from said 1 to 2, and you're saying 2 to 3. That makes a huge difference.
Well,
And it all
ours
depends
was
on
the
your material
generation
that you're running
after
through it.
yours.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Yes.
it
still,
all
I
depends
mean,
on the throughput material.
well, that's good to hear that the
It's
potential is there if you know what
yeah,
you know what you're doing and how to run it and the material that's going in. That's pretty good to hear.
And you
yeah,
get the advantage of dealing with real world operators like right now. So
Yeah.
I think this is cool.
yeah.
But
So
that thing of being able to use existing equipment is going to be a real uh, big advantage because you don't have to go out and buy another $1 million worth of equipment to grow and harvest this stuff. So that's going to be really helpful.
That's
Yeah.
what
No, for what it's worth, I don't even own my own baler. I don't own my own grain drill. We just hire some. We have some local people that do that. So I just push the easy button, hire the experts to do that stuff.
So, Mr. Shaddix, now you can see why, that price is what it is
Yeah.
because, people are using a lot of existing equipment that they already have. And
Yep.
if I'm being perfectly honest, a lot of people from what I've seen, when they first get in this space, they get into this space because that's what they want to do. They want to use the existing equipment that they have, but they can't find anybody to ask questions to. And then they start hearing about you can grow this stuff for CBD, right? So now when you hear about that, that's where the costs come in. You can't plant, every 3 to 6 inches apart. You're looking at 4 to 5 feet apart. You need people to walk the rows every day. You got to monitor the nutrients. Like it just gets crazy, fast, and that's when those costs kind of get out of control. So,
But as far as comparing, see, they grow a lot of soybeans in this region, and so does your return per acre compare favorably with soybeans, for instance?
This is the first year in about, I don't know, 50 years probably that we're not planting any soybeans on our farm. It's just hemp and corn this year.
there you go.
Yeah. Uh, it's funny. So that actually brings me back to what JJ was saying in his introduction as far as the height of these plants. Some industrial hemp plants aren't actually bred to grow that tall. There's other industrial hemp plants that are only for the grain variety, for the seed that it produces itself. And, some of those are genetically made to only be about 5 feet tall so that your combine doesn't have to be clear up at its highest point to go after that seed. And there is still a bit of a viable stock left over, about a maybe foot and a half, maybe 2 feet long worth of stock that you can go after and still
Yeah.
bring that to a decorticator.
Mhm.
Okay, and so
At the end of the day, that 1 ton per acre pays for your seed pretty much. So your grain that you raise is all going in the farmer's pocket for the most part.
Oh, so here's somebody in the background. I didn't know if that was. Oh no, I guess that's not a question. Well, so moving on to another question that comes up is what do you guys find in way of genetics? What do you find for what you're growing and what you're doing in your area? Now I know it's gonna be area specific. Like what we say on this Zoom isn't gonna necessarily go for someone else's area because this thing grows best by latitude. Like certain genetics grow best in certain latitudes. But for your area, what genetics do you primarily work with or have people, deal with?
For the most part,
Typically,
our stock varieties. Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
oh, I was going to say, so far our stock varieties have been like we've grown things from French varieties to Italian. We've had some Polish varieties, Canadian, Chinese varieties. Um, we've tried quite a few.
Yeah.
What we really have noticed as far as a good trait is that they have a large fan leaf that allows them to block out any other competition that starts coming at them when they're first canopying.
Okay.
Um, because after that, you just have black dirt underneath. And what really does that for us is some of the Chinese varieties and the French varieties.
Gotcha.
They shoot up fast. And also this new one, Jurassic, as well, does a great job of doing that, shooting up and just presenting a big fan leaf.
Hmm. And then the taller it
And that's out of
gets,
Canada.
okay. And so the taller it gets, the less you have to worry about weeds because it's going to choke the weeds out because they can't get any light. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. Yeah, and
Um,
And
honestly, we've made some
insects.
videos here in these fields where once you're out here and going, uh, this stuff almost air conditions your soil We went in a couple of cornfields last year and got some temperatures in between the row. I mean, it is canopied and you couldn't see any sun. I mean, the sunlight could barely see the soil, but the soil temperature in that cornfield was 100 plus degrees. And the soil temperature in this hemp field was about 78, I believe.
That's
So,
Yep.
amazing.
I mean, if you can keep your soil 20 degrees cooler, your microbes are going to be happier. I mean, yeah, just out in this field, there's hardly anywhere for light to get down to let weeds to grow.
So,
Oh,
and
sorry.
that
Go ahead.
actually, I was going to say that microbe thing actually brings me to another point. When we go out to harvest this, we leave about 6 inches of each of those stalks still sticking up out of the ground. One to protect your tires, but two just because you don't really need to go that low and you need that air bed for your retting. Um, but my point in that is that, gosh dang it, I'm sorry. I lost my point in that.
Hey, come on, Air Force. You're making me look bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, my bad there.
No, we're
Uh,
also putting some back in the soil too. We're adding a lot of organic matter back in the soil. All of our leaves that are falling off, they don't make
and
it
the
into our
root
bales.
mass. That's where I was
Yeah,
going with that. That 6 inches
yep.
of root mass is good for the
I knew where you were
microbes.
going.
Carl's like, yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, root mass.
Man, I
Yeah.
forgot. All right.
Uh,
So,
so here's another good one because this comes up a lot. Like here in Alabama, it's June, about to be July, and I got people coming up to me saying things like, "Yeah, man, we're still gonna plant in 2026." I'm like, "No, the hell you're not, because the
No.
soil temperature is too freaking warm, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do
Yep.
you guys find is the ideal soil temperature so that you don't cook that seed? What are y'all advising people?"
Uh, 55 degrees is really the ideal temp.
Mm-hmm.
I think about 50 it starts germinating, but it's pretty slow. If
Mm-hmm.
you get that soil temp around 55 to 60 in the springtime, that
Mm-hmm.
stuff will pop right out of the ground. But if you do happen to wait until too long, say summertime, if it get over 100 degrees, that soil can get too hot and cook the germination right out of it.
Yes, sir. So
So,
anybody who hearing this, anybody thinking about doing anything right now, and you're down south, you can forget about it, until it cools down more. Because that is a thing that is critical, and it gets overlooked a lot. Yeah. So that's,
no, we found that black soil on a hot 100-degree day, that subsoil temp can get over 120 degrees, and that's enough to cook the germination right out of your hemp seed. So if you don't have it started by then, you might just cook your seed putting it in the ground.
yeah, absolutely. Danny, did you have any luck getting your? Nope, still
Nope,
can't.
go ahead.
God, still can't hear you.
You need a lip reader.
Yeah, yeah.
so I have another question is, what's your primary target market for your product? I
I'd say
mean,
it depends
hempcrete or
on
insulation or animal bedding or
D, all of the above, sir.
really?
We've got ideas with mushroom markets as far as the substrates. We've got ideas with, non-wovens, with even erosion mats and that type of thing. There's people that are making twines from it for baling purposes.
There you go.
There's
JP's got
just
some pictures of some
20, I
products
think,
there.
yeah, twenty
Here's our
thousand
whole
uses.
here's our whole table of products. We aren't making all these, but these are all products that have hemp in it, and some of these companies we've sent our samples out to. So hopefully we'll have some Dakota hemp herd and fiber in these products someday. But yeah, Patagonia is making denim. Levi's and Carhartt are also interested in getting some
Well,
sort
that
of
was
denim
another
duck line
question I
going.
had that I would like clarified as far as hemp train's capabilities go, is the fiber end of it, from what I understand at this point, it doesn't do the long fiber that it would be
Ooh.
suitable for textiles or anything like that.
Yeah, I
What's
don't. Yeah, but
I
please
would
speak
say
on
our
that one.
fiber is actually too long for textile use, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
you can
Textiles are used
I'm
to
showing it
about
right here is about a
Where you
That's
get
a
that out of
strand,
the hemp train?
strand decorticated. Yep. And most
Yep.
textile companies are looking for about a 4 to 6 inch fiber right at the moment. So
Well, it
So
seems like
this
it'd be
comes
easy enough to make it
directly.
the length that they would like, though, wouldn't it?
You need
yeah.
a so hemp is very s- pretty sturdy textile. So like you need a very specialized shredder with special shaped knives to actually cut through the material and not just wrap around.
Hmm.
So this is our conveyor that leads
Oh,
directly out of the hemp train into our baling area,
All right.
and these are the fibers that come out of there,
Hmm.
and most of them end up being too long for textile use
So
because
what do you
they're
do
looking
with
for
them
that.
now?
Well, that's kind of the thing
Working
we're
on?
getting our we're getting our stuff sized better. We're getting it cleaner. We have another gentleman. I don't want to be talking stuff out of church, but we have another guy, another gentleman that has a DoD contract that's supposed to be coming through for us with a different technology to add along with our technology, where our long fibers would be utilized in a way that they can be kept intact like they are.
That's good.
I guess
So what
we
I'm
like to say it's easier to cut. We can still cut the fiber shorter. It's kind of hard to get the fiber stretcher out and make it longer.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing is you guys are not limited by height, of the crop that comes your way. It's all about the demand of the customer and what they want, right?
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Now, what about diameter? Like what, like because we've had some individual conversations, about it, but like in terms of diameter, have you guys run into any problems with like the larger stocks? I mean, if it's thumb size, pinky size,
Yeah.
you'll do that all day, but like the larger stuff, have y'all had any issues?
Like
Yeah,
we
I
have had,
got
a
one
belt or
over
two.
here.
Oh, hey,
Go ahead, John.
yeah, there we go.
There's a Here's one long one that we pulled out stock out of our field last year. It's about I can just about get my hand around it.
Hey, John,
That one would be way
John,
too big to be
John,
running through.
hey, John, you're frozen. Do you have your Wi-Fi turned on right now?
Yeah, I think you're not
I'll
connected to
catch
the
it.
Wi-Fi, buddy.
Okay.
These steel buildings. Whew.
Yeah.
You just saw him walk over to the corner and just glitch. You're like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's gone
I
into
had to
the
turn it
forbidden
off to
zone.
go. I'll get it.
Okay. Yeah, I see so basically what I think he's doing is so when you have the video operating on Zoom, takes more bandwidth, but if you turn the video feature off, it doesn't, you don't have as many delays sometimes and freezing.
Yep.
So while while John's getting that going, Carl, do you want to speak on some of that in terms of
I
the
was actually
Oh, there he
Back
goes.
yet?
right next to this. So this one on my left here, this is a variety called Jurassic. It's a Canadian variety. They're pretty large, about an index finger.
Mm-hmm.
Where this variety, this was an indigo, Zagrain variety, and you can see that the stalks are much smaller in size, almost even smaller than my pinky is.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so that just it makes a different ratio between your fiber and your herd, where we're going to get a lot more herd out of this, but probably a little less fiber and maybe not the most desirable fiber.
Mm-hmm.
This may create better fiber, but less herd overall.
Gotcha. And it all boils
Yep.
down to, what the end user is actually looking for.
Yeah.
John, you said something, John, you were saying something about you could almost not get your hand around. Do you still have that or are you
Yeah.
in that
Can you
area?
guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. No, this stock is probably a 2 inch diameter. This would be too big to almost go into a baling machine. Uh, when we cut them out in the field, about a 1 inch diameter stalk is be about perfect. That's about a 75 to 80% herd and 20% fiber ratio. At the moment here, that's kind of what we're looking for is more herd. But that anything larger than that, you're going to start running into machinery issues when you're cutting it, baling it, and processing it that way.
Now it seems like you guys have a pretty large facility, man. Like, what kind of square footage are you looking at for your facility?
This one isn't huge. We got maybe 15,000 square feet under roof.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see, hey John, go walk out to the opening. So there's John, and you can maybe see me through the curtain.
Okay, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's about the length of the facility
Okay.
as far as
Yeah.
production area. And then we have a storage area as well.
How long is
Sure.
the primary machine itself from one end to the other?
I think it's about 100 feet, no, 75.
Those are 25-foot bays in that room you're in.
So it's 100 feet,
A
all of 100
hundred
feet.
feet. Man, I was a little bit worried about my facility I just bought. It's like 120, so it's going to take about all but 20.
So it would seem, yes.
Man, well,
I don't
I'm
know. It
gonna
might
have
be a
to.
little shorter, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it covers a good full 75. So I mean, we got a
Okay,
25 extra for driving
Yeah.
around, but yeah,
that's good.
120 should get you enough.
But yeah, then we still have the back area where our sifting happens and then augers that make our super sacks.
Do y'all do any of the char,
Like the biochar.
biochar?
We do not, but we know some guys, some nice gentlemen, literally about an hour north of us that are biochar producers, and they have their own facility. I forgot their name right now, though, John. What is that?
Proprietary.
Proprietary.
Uh,
Their name's proprietary. That's a good name.
Steve Gruen is the guy to look up. I forget the name of the company off the top of my head. I
So
want to
is
say
there a good
42 North,
market
but
for
I
that
could be wrong.
product?
They're just coming up with it now. They're one of the first ones to have biochar reactor in the area. So same thing, just dialing in the machine and getting everything running first. Uh, Takes quite a bit to make a small amount of biochar.
But it seems like that might be a good use for that big, heavy, long stalk there. That would work good for biochar if it's not good for anything else.
Yeah, so here I'll show you guys the different grades of herd that we produce here lately, I should say, because we can change up things and make different sizes still. Uh, the first one, we call this H1. This is kind of our mid-grade as far as size goes. It's
Hmm.
very clean in shape.
That's probably what they would use for more for like hempcrete, right?
A
Yeah,
little bit,
maybe.
some,
Yep.
some.
Yeah.
This is our fines. So this would be like, almost the byproduct of the chopper doing its sizing. It just, you end up with small pieces as well. Uh, oh, darn it, my bag's empty. Like my
Hate
bag's
when
empty.
that
I can't
hate
just
when that
reach in there,
happens.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got you back.
so that's our larger material. Oh, thank you, John.
I got.
We've got a bag of H2,
Yep,
and
and
then
this
just a little
herd
larger.
right here is about 1 inch, about half inch to 1 inch long is this one.
Hmm.
So, yep, and depending on the size of the screens that we put in there, we can adjust this. Starting to be able to adjust this based on what the customer wants. Some of our hempcrete guys were looking for 1 inch plus. Some of the animal bedding people are looking for under half inch. So we got a whole. We aim to please.
Got them covered.
Now, with that being
Yeah.
said, we got to talk about briefly about the micronized, stuff. I'm not sure, how small, you guys are able to get down to, with the hemp train. I know some people are looking for that 30 to 45 micron range, for plastic hemp plastic composites and stuff like that.
Yeah. We are able to get it, I'd say down to about 2 millimeters in length.
Hmm.
But we definitely can't get down to that micron without a some type of hammer mill or something to really smash it up.
It,
John's actually showing some of those bioplastics from a company called EcoChic.
yeah, yeah, I've
Uh,
heard of that.
you can talk about that, John.
Yeah, these guys are looking. I mean, for micronized hemp herd, uh, both for the straws, utensils. They've even got a 3D printer filament.
Yeah.
And this bowl right here was 3D printed with that. So yes, we're working on that. We don't currently have capabilities to do any micronizing, but we can find some You can
if
find some mills that need it if need
if
be.
if you ever need micronized, holla at your boy because
All
you
right.
know you
I
can
know a
take
guy
some.
now.
Yeah, you know a guy. Well, I've got people in Texas that can get down to that 30 micron and below. You know, if there's a need for anything that comes up your way, so please let me know. I can
Awesome.
easily make that happen for you.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, yep. Just let me know. So nah man, this has been great. And you know, I would be remiss if I didn't, start to wrap this thing up by asking if they ever need to get in, if people say, you know what, I don't like that JJ guy. I want to deal directly with the Dakota Hemp people. Like, how do they get in touch
You
with you?
can't do that. Sorry, you can't do that.
Yep.
You jump in the chain of command.
Nope, nope,
Check
nope,
yourself
not
first.
possible.
Anyway,
Nah. But seriously,
if
like
you want to
how
get in touch with us, you can reach us at either john@dakotahemp.com or Carl, Karll, at dakotahemp.com. Either email will come to us. Also, if you look up Dakota Hemp, I'm sure you'll find one of our cell phone numbers literally on Google. So you can call us also.
I'm gonna play some military jokes like with you. I'm gonna find your number and I'm gonna start drunk calling you. You know
Oh
how
God,
how
you
we
put me
do.
up on Craigslist for a male escort. Oh, I've seen them all.
Oh man, man, this has been great. This has been a wonderful chat. I wanted to, once again, see if anyone wants to unmute and ask, any questions, any follow-up questions that they might have before we get ready to disconnect here. Because we've been out here an hour. I appreciate everyone's time. I want to make sure that we're getting, specific to the questions that people have. Danny, I really wish I could hear you because I cannot and I don't want to give out my cell phone number on this platform. But Danny, my email address is James at jjgro.com. Please, shoot me an email if you need to, and I'll make sure you get in touch with these gentlemen, to ask whatever questions that need to be asked. I want to make sure everyone's taken care of. I apologize, I can't hear you. I just don't. Other than logging off and logging back on and selecting the right audio, that's the only thing that I know to tell you to do. Um, I appreciate everyone coming out here. John, Carl, I really appreciate you guys once again. Thank you for your service, to this nation. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm 100% on my VA. If you guys need any help getting situated with that VA process and knowing how it works, please let me know.
Oh,
I'll give you any information that I have because I like seeing people being taken care of in that regard. So
Can,
really appreciate everyone's
can
time.
I ask one last little question, James, as your
Nope, nope,
moderator is
nope. 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 No,
overall,
I'm joking.
would you would you say the hemp train is fairly uh, reliable, problem-free uh, piece of equipment or production line?
I
I
would
would
You
say it's
know, yeah, that's a loaded question. Every day is a new adventure here. I mean, this is one of the most difficult materials to work with.
I
I
like
mean,
yeah.
we've all felt hemp textile or hemp fiber, how tough it is. You've got rapidly rotating machinery working around that, so you're bound to have some plugs here and there. But as we've been running in the machine for the last few months, we're finding all those tricky spots and working around them. And yes, it has become much easier to run, I would
and
say.
Yeah, I like to think of it like we bought ourselves a nice sports car and we're, making it Shelby,
Yeah. All
making it a
right.
little better.
I would like to just chime in on that real quick and say poop in equals poop out. If you're not properly screening that material and you're accepting bales that have big boulders in them still, and it's not properly, screened properly prior to going through the conveyance line, that's going to cause issues,
Yep.
Yeah.
So the better, these growers do at baling, which is one reason why they probably leave that last 6 inches because you don't have to worry about scooping up, so much low stuff. That's going to decrease your chances of breakdown, in the facility. I know people are going to be tempted, because of weight. The lower you go, the more
Oh
weight
yeah.
you can get. But at the same time, if you're breaking our machines too much, bro, we don't want your stuff in here. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just real talk.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a, as our engineers would say at Canadian Greenfields, it's not a rock crusher. And that's a quote. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So man, I really appreciate you guys' firsthand experience. I appreciate your effort, and I want to do everything that I can, to support you guys, help get the word out, about what you're doing. So if y'all ever have any videos or anything that need to be shared, across, South Dakota, multiple states, just whatever, please feel free, to let me know, because I want to make sure you guys are taken care of. When we conclude, there'll be a recording that it does. I'll get it transferred over to YouTube. I'll send that to you guys. I'll get it posted to all the pages so everyone can see this. And man, I sincerely appreciate everyone taking time out of their evening to be with us, on a Sunday, to get your mind right, get you pumped up to get started to go to that job on Monday. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us, JJ. We really
man,
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you,
it.
JJ.
Yeah.
You've been a
This is
very generous
awesome.
host.
totally my pleasure. And
Yeah.
I'll do this for you guys anytime. Y'all just let me know.
Awesome. Will
Thank
you
you
enjoy the
very
rest of
much.
your evening?
Yeah.
Yes,
Good
sir.
meeting you guys.
Thank
Roger
you,
Good to
that.
meet
guys.
you
Have
too.
a great one.
All right.
Have a
Y'all
great
take
one.
care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye, Danny.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Take care, Mr. Shaddix. Bye-bye.
All right.
See you later,
Bye.
Danny, Renee, and Valerie. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.